Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story: the guest who brags about the black Amex card demands immediate attention. The second story: customer mocking the employees and stealing the tip, only to return a week later demanding a refund and getting called out by the waiter. The third story: I leave my micromanaging new boss and narcissistic colleague to deal with the chaos I left behind. The first story is, Sir, you're not even one of the top 20 richest people in the building right now. Some years ago, just a day or two before Christmas Eve, an unusually massive and rather unexpected ice storm descended upon our fair city. As if the terrible cold, blowing frigid sleet and all-day holiday preparations having to come to a halt weren't enough, a very large chunk of the city lost power for upwards of 12 hours just after lunch. With a population of 5 million, complete chaos ensued about as quickly as you would imagine. Some sporadic area of the downtown core still somehow had power, and wouldn't you know it, lucky me was working in one of the only hotels that had light, heat, and water. A luxury hotel with 350 rooms, 13% occupancy, and enough staff on shift to reflect it. Every department in the building was running on absolute bare-bones staff because A, it was the slowest week of the year in our area, and B, pretty much a third of all employees in the building were either out on holidays or lived outside of the downtown core, and all methods of public transport were down for the foreseeable future. This meant calling in more people was pretty much not an option, and the majority of people scheduled to come in for afternoon and evening couldn't make it even if they wanted to. I was in the reservations and PBX office at the time with 2 other people. We had 2 agents at the front desk, 3 housekeepers in the entire building, 1 houseman, 1 valet, 1 in-room dining server, and 1 chef between in-room dining and the 2 in-house restaurants since they were completely dead up until this point. And 1 poor bee of a duty manager that was the cherry on top of our SH Sunday, and you have a weather catastrophe dream team. We went from 13% to 100% in the span of 3 hours. It was an absolute dumpster fire. People started flooding in out of everywhere the second they found out we had power. However, because this happened to be a luxury property, the people who could afford to suddenly stay at the very last minute for premium rate just before Christmas were as entitled and insufferable as you would imagine. Once we hit the dinner tonight, there was already roughly a 3 to 4 hour wait for in-room dining, as surprise, surprise, no one felt like going out into the effing Siberian tundra that was forming outside, so they figured they would just order room service. Unfortunately, this was in the days before gig food delivery services, so it was pretty much their only option of not having to leave the building. Everyone was more or less a jackie and pretty upset about the fact that the room service order they had placed for their family of 8 was taking more than 15 minutes to arrive. One guest, however, particularly sticks out to me. For clarity's sake, let's call him Jerk. Since we only have the 3 housekeepers and 1 houseman, and a good 60% of our available rooms were dirty status since we weren't expecting to be at more than 20% for the next week or so, to say housekeeping was working overtime would be the understatement of the year. They were moving as fast as humanly possible, and I'm pretty sure somehow even faster, to flip rooms and try their best to cover whatever deliveries needed to be made. Turn down for us usually started around 7 or 8 p.m. on a normal day, and came with a complimentary 250 milliliter bottle of water. For my American friends, that's about a small coffee cup's worth of liquid. Barely even worth bringing it to the room. It was more of a gesture than anything, like the mint on the pillow. The jerk in question called down around 4 o'clock p.m. asking where his turn-down water was. After explaining that they were generally not brought up until turn-down service several hours later, Jerk still insisted that he wanted it now. I told him the best I could do would be to put in a delivery request, but informed him that the housekeeping and in-room dining teams are extremely behind, due to the storm, an unexpected influx of bookings, so there would most likely be a very long wait. Maybe an hour later, in between all of the screaming in-room dining guests, repeatedly giving Central Res SH for calling us every 10 minutes to ask if we're sure we have no rooms left, and the flurry of direct "why are you sold out though" inquiries, Jerk called back to ask where his free tiny water is. I launched into my "we do apologize." However, due to the storm and circumstances out of our control, acts of God, etc., our service team is extremely limited, and we're moving in a priority sequence as fast as we possibly can. Speech that had basically become my new catchphrase in the last few hours. Jerk cut me off, and ISHU not said verbatim, "Well, I have an Amex Black card and I should be top priority." This MF was in our lowest room category on a CAA rate, being about his free thimble of water, while we literally have 3 of the richest people in the country. one of them being one of the Shark Tank billionaires in the building, along with pro athletes, musicians, and apparently the entire effing bridal path. Google it. You'll recognize a lot of the names on the community roster. By this point, I'm 10 hours into my 6-hour morning shift. I've spent the whole day being screamed at, harassed, and literally being personally blamed for the bad weather and just completely over it. Without even pausing or thinking, I immediately snap back, "Well, sir, if it makes you feel any better, all of our other guests that have Amex Black cards have been waiting just as long as you, and I don't believe any of them have complained about it. Is there anything else I can help with?" Jerk just grumbled something along the lines of he will be filing a complaint, and I wished him a wonderful day before hanging up while he was mid-sentence. One of the only other people on shift in my department that day was my supervisor, who is a real one. As soon as I hang up, she proclaimed, "I did not hear anything. I have no idea about a water bottle request, and looking through the call recording log, seems somehow all the calls from room number have somehow been deleted, without even being prompted." We wrapped ourselves in blankets, took off our shoes, and ordered pizza to the office. The official effort phase of the day progressed until the overnight that arrived, and we got the hell out of Dodge. There was no turn down for anyone that night, and Jerk never did get his tiny water. Well, sir, you may not be one of the top 20 richest people in the building, but you're definitely the top one in the list of the biggest jerks. I can't even imagine how much of a nightmare it must have been to work in a hotel during an ice storm with no power, and you added an extra level of craziness to it by demanding a tiny bottle of water he delivered to you right away. I mean, seriously, did you really think that having an Amex Black card would make you the top priority during such chaotic circumstances? It's not like the hotel staff didn't want to provide you with the best service possible, but they were already understaffed and overwhelmed, and you were being completely unreasonable. Plus, knowing that there were much richer and more famous guests staying in the hotel at the same time as you, it's pretty comical that you thought that your black card would put you on top of the list. I hope you learned a lesson that day about humility and patience, and that you treated the hotel staff with the respect they deserve after everything they went through. The second story is, obnoxious regular firework blocked us on 4th of July. I waited tables at a family-owned restaurant for 16 years. We had a regular customer that came in every Sunday or Monday night for dinner. I'll call him Paul, 70 plus. He was one of our sweethearts, always happy and friendly, and we genuinely loved waiting on him. Unfortunately, once, usually a month, Paul's son, we'll call him Bernard, 40s, would join him. Bernard was a nightmare. Bernard constantly complained about everything, mocked customers and employees alike, made being rude and condescending a blood sport, was a jackass to his dad, and was a major league cheapskate. Bernard was such a cheapskate that he only came out to dinner because his dad was paying the check. Bernard would also add on extra meals and desserts to go, and if he felt his dad was tipping too much, around 20%, he would wait till his dad got up and then help himself to the tip in the table. This was all a normal visit from Bernard. This specific encounter was on the 4th of July. Traditionally, we would close early 8 p.m. on 4th of July so that our employees could get home or to parties before the fireworks started. Yes, we advertised this for the prior 2 weeks every year. Paul and Bernard come in at 7:30 p.m. Our manager reminds them that we'll be closing in half an hour and asks if they may be interested in placing their order to go, offering free slices of pie to sweeten the deal too. Paul had already started saying he didn't want to hold us up, and the takeout would be great when Bernard said, "No thanks, we came in to eat and that's what we're gonna do." Bernard goes on to order appetizers, soup, salad, entree, and 2 entrees to go, slice of pie a la mode, and 3 slices to go, while Paul orders his usual bowl of cream of turkey, side of potato chips, and a slice of apple pie to go. The entire meal, Bernard is sitting there loudly lecturing the remaining employees that are doing their side work about the merits of staying open and keeping the clientele happy. Where he was ready for dessert, it was 8:45 p.m., and the fireworks had begun. I had already opted to stay and let their waitress go, since she wanted to see the fireworks with her kids, so it was just myself and the manager left with the table. Bernard kept taking a forkful of pie, holding it up, smiled at us, would take the bite and then say while chewing, "If you've seen one fireworks show, you've seen them all," and then would laugh and would do the cycle over again. When he was finally ready to leave, Paul apologized and thanked us for taking care of them and put a $20 bill on the table. When I went up to clear the table, I saw that the tip was gone and Bernard was sauntering away. He got out to his dad's car and turned and waved at us through the window, smiling that same smile of his. The manager and I were both peeved, but really what could we do at that moment? Fast forward a week and I come into my night shift to find that Bernard is at the register demanding a refund on the check from 4th of July. He claimed that we charged them for their desserts when the manager had offered them for free. He sees me, points at me and says, "He was there when it was offered to us, he knows." I smiled and nodded in agreement. "Yes, Bernard, the manager did offer 1 free slice of pie for each of you if you place an order for takeout. Instead, you dined in, mocked your waitress for wanting to spend a holiday with her kids, and then stole the $20 tip that your father left for me. Fortunately, the day manager didn't give in to the demand, and Bernard stormed out in a huff. A few days later, Paul came in alone for his normal meal, and the manager that had been there for the last visit sat in the booth with him and told him about Bernard's visit looking for refunds. Paul was very apologetic and even offered me another $20 tip to make up for it, but I couldn't take it because I knew he wasn't to blame. For about the next 6 months or so, Bernard wouldn't say a word to me. He'd only sit there and glare at me whenever he saw me. It was the best tip that Smug AH ever gave me. Hey OP, your story about Bernard and Paul had me laughing out loud. I can't believe the audacity of some people. Who steals their own father's tip and complains about paying for their desserts after ordering a whole feast? Bernard sounds like a real piece of work, but at least he gave you the gift of his silence for 6 months. I hope Paul continues to come in and brighten your day with his sweet and friendly attitude. Thanks for sharing this entertaining tale. And the last story is, I abruptly left work for a month, and I don't feel remotely bad for the SH show I left them with. I'm support staff for higher education faculty. About a year ago, a botanist retired and I was asked to take over the greenhouse facility that was in her care. She was paid over 2 times what I make and my pay didn't change, although my workload did. I asked several times about my job description and rate being updated to reflect it, but all I got was an updated business card with added greenhouse title. We also recently picked up a new dean and 2 new faculty. I did my job flawlessly for 3 years, but new dean is micromanaging one, and I have not thrived under this management style. One new faculty is a narcissistic type A who thinks the way she does things is the best way, and wants to teach everyone how to do their job better. Type A tried getting me to change my methods on several of my responsibilities, and I said no, so she went to the new dean and sold the idea of rework and training. Now I've been told that all those ways of doing things are the old ways and I'm to update these new ways. Best of all, Type A is supposed to provide me all the training I need. Yay! I've been having anxiety issues ever since new dean arrived. Her method of constantly making me change the way I do things has led to a constant feeling of dread. And when you consistently make one person change to make everyone else happy, that one person ends up always feeling at fault in some way. I tried to explain this to new dean and she doubled down, repeated that she's in charge, and that I don't get to pick and choose to do only the things I prefer. I had been saving 200+ hours of sick time. I called my doctor. He wrote me a note to take 4 weeks off, no questions asked. I got the note on Thursday and started sick time that Friday. No one knows how to care for the greenhouse. The swamp coolers have not been activated yet, so things are getting too hot and dying. It's a switch on the control panel, but no one has figured it out. From what I hear, it's been mass panic. I don't feel anything. Forgot to mention, June is my 10th year working for that institution. A decade of my life to them and I have what to show for it? Honestly, F 'em. Haha, look who's the ultimate greenhouse mastermind. Leaving your workplace in a complete state of chaos just to prove a point. That's one way to show them who's in charge. Or at least who was in charge of the greenhouse. I'm sure everyone's struggling to keep up with the dying plants, but hey, you deserve that much needed break. It's not like you've been there for 10 whole years or anything, right? All jokes aside, it sounds like you made the right decision for your mental health, and I hope you're feeling much better now. And yeah, F them. I hope you love these stories. Thank you for watching.